I've gotten 2 emails from mailing lists that I subscribe to within the past week talking about Superhuman, the email
Oh,
app. And so we need to talk about that at some point.
yes.
I don't know if
That's
I can stomach the $30 a month, but it sounds amazing.
I
So
couldn't either
anyway.
until I finally did, and then it was the best thing ever. Although I don't use it anymore because my employer locks that down pretty tightly. And so the whole
Yeah.
point of it for me was having everything in one place. And if you ruin that, it's ruined, you know? So now I use
Hmm.
Outlook.
Outlook.
Probably should, yeah, I probably shouldn't admit that out loud. But, it's honestly slightly better than it once was.
Yeah. Outlook
It
is
gets the
fine.
job done. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's surprisingly, this is neither here nor there, but of all the mobile clients for email, I've also landed on Outlook because I actually,
Oh,
at this moment in time, prefer it to everything out there except Superhuman. But
fascinating.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know.
I'm just using Apple Mail on my laptop and my phone and
Oh,
my iPad, uh, except for work emails, and those I just keep in Gmail because stuff tends to sit in the inbox there for a while. Of like,
ah,
the attorney asked this question, and I need to get back to it, but I'm
yeah.
not in that project until next week, and so it's just got to sit there. I don't know. We could debate about inbox zero there, but
I
that's how
wasn't saying
that's
anything. I
how
didn't say
that's how
anything.
that inbox runs. Most of my other ones are not quite that bad. So anyway,
No, no, you're
email management.
no
This
judgment.
is what folks tune in for.
Yeah.
Is this inside baseball stuff here? Hello there, dear listener. I am Steve.
And I'm Tyler, and welcome to another episode of It's Not About the Money, the podcast where we help you gain the clarity you need to run a successful small business.
Tyler has a financial coaching practice. I run a tax business. We are both small business owners like you, and this podcast is our exploration of entrepreneurship, one episode at a time. And this is my attempt at editing together an episode out of one big long recording session that sort of went off the rails. So we're just going to pick up right where we left off last time.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I've learned over the years, like, not everyone obsesses about how they manage their email inbox, Steve. So I usually don't have anyone to talk about this with. So
Okay.
this could be
Well,
dangerous.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm here for.
Yeah.
This is the stuff we like to geek out about.
Yeah. We could just let's do. This is a side note. Maybe we do. Yeah, a whole episode about email, not just clients or whatever, but it's like all of it, email management, pros and cons of inbox zero type stuff, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like a rabbit hole. It could be fun though. I would love it.
How do I get myself to only check email once a day?
Oh my word!
I would
Please
I
solve
would
that for
I
me.
would love to be able to do that, and I just can't seem to manage it.
Neither can I. I think I'm addicted, honestly, because I think I could do it. I think I'm fully in the dopamine.
Oh, email is absolutely intermittent reinforcement. Like sometimes you'll check it and there's nothing, and sometimes you'll
Yeah.
check it and there's 3 things from people that you like
Yeah.
and you wanted to hear from.
Yep.
And sometimes it's an angry client email. You never know.
Yeah.
And so you just keep coming back because there might be something interesting in there this
And there
time.
might be something actually super important and urgent. That's the thing that kills me. I wish there was a
Yeah,
way
yeah,
to
yeah.
like get those like, yeah. Because like for the majority of my work, it's pretty email heavy. My corporate job, as corporate jobs tend to be,
Uh-huh.
and I also manage a team, and we also deal with a lot of external suppliers and things, and at the business and everything. So there's a lot going on in email, and all that being true, there have been periods where I've tried really hard to check twice a day. I could never do the once a day, but I
Mm-hmm.
was like, once at a certain time in the morning and once at a certain time in the afternoon, so that I was always catching those important ones before too much time went by. I have to believe that's possible. Because like email is also like the best form of procrastination because you feel so productive and yet you're
It's true.
doing nothing.
Yeah. Well, okay, so it is absolutely possible because for the last I don't know, month and a half for my day job, several days a week, I have been going to do code review in an attorney's office in a room
Ah,
where I cannot bring my phone, I don't have internet access.
yeah.
I'm just there to read the code and try and figure out what it does. So if I want to check my email, I have to leave the room and go back to the breakout room where my laptop is, and then I can see it. So I only end up checking email a couple of times in the whole day.
The second you walk out of the room, you're just like, oh,
The second it's yes. How did you know? But
because that's what I would do.
yes. But the point is, like, nothing has exploded. No clients are angry because I did not respond within an hour. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. So it's just the I don't know, self-control or the
Yes. The discipline,
management
or
of the dopamine.
It's like expectations management. It's like not an easy thing. You're never going to do this by accident unless you just don't care, which might actually be part of the solution. But oh shoot. Yeah, that was, I had a deep thought. I was like, oh, maybe I just shouldn't care. That's not what I was going to say. Oh, there's also a surprising number of emails that like resolve themselves, I've noticed, within a couple of hours. And like, I'm not going to get on here and advocate for doing this. You don't do this to your boss, everybody. I mean, I don't do it to my boss, just for the record. I'm always very, very prompt on replying to my boss, but like, you can kind of tell if you're like CC'd on a giant thread or something sometimes, or if you're just like, I'm not going to dive in on this right away because I feel like there's something else going on here. Anyway, or the most blessed email of all, someone sends you a question, and before you have a chance to reply to it, they're like, oh, never mind, I figured it out.
Yeah,
those are the best.
Love those.
Email.
I have also found that when I let unread emails pile up in the inbox, it is easier to not compulsively check my email because, like, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in there. It's fine. I can't get through them all right now. And so there's just, whatever. Leave them there.
Yeah.
You don't need to check them. Where when it's all cleared out and there's a new one, it's like, oh, well, what's this? It must be important because there's only one in here and it's unread.
Yeah.
But if there's 20 because I haven't checked since this morning.
Well, see, okay. we're coming back to this idea of like, maybe you just shouldn't care. Maybe inbox zero is the problem.
Actually, I have started moving newsletters off to Readwise Reader.
Yeah.
So they just come in through the feed there, and then I'll just go check the feed when I'm in the mood to read things.
Yeah.
And they don't clutter up the inbox.
I do that as well. I basically have a no newsletter policy for my personal inbox. I do subscribe to newsletters, and I enjoy many of them, but I do it the same way you do. Like, it's like there's a special app for that. There's a special time for that. Anyway. I've been running an email list for my coaching business for a while now. It's not a gigantic one, but it's like closer to 1,000 than 500 people on there, which blows my mind. But
yeah,
one of the most shocking things that I never expected, and I kind of thought might be fake news until this conversation right now, is that like when you send out a mass email, as long as it's not like the middle of the night or something, there is a sizable portion of your email list that opens it within like 10 seconds. And that disturbs me.
Actual humans opening it up?
I mean, that's what I thought. I thought it was all bots, right? Because I'm like, how could this be? Like, what?
Right.
Like, what's going on? So I really did think that, and there are some, like, I'm pretty sure there are some either bots or I think different email clients react differently to, or I don't know. So, like, for example, I use Outlook on mobile, and if it's a long email, it has like that read more button at the bottom. And so if I'm reading it in like the default view and then I get to the end and I have to click the read more button, I think that counts as like 2 views potentially, or 2 opens, or I know there's like weird little quirks, right? Because email is a hard thing to track, and companies like Apple have really cracked down on privacy and like allowing third parties to know whether an email has been opened, or so it's very there's a lot of like ambiguity and inaccurate data.
I think my Apple Mail clients go like preload the images through their whatever VPN backend, something. So usually by the time I open the email, everything has already been downloaded long ago. And so I don't know whether any metrics are emitting when I actually open up the email and read it with my eyeballs.
Well, if you're using Apple Mail, and I don't know the latest news on this, but I've heard through the grapevine that Apple is one that has kind of they've done even things like UTM scrambling. I again
Mm, yeah.
allegedly, I don't know this firsthand, so please don't like but which is where that's appendage, no, the where you
The
add it
little query string at the end of a URL.
yes, that allows people to know where the source was, what the campaign
Yeah.
was, all that stuff. And they're engaging in some, Apple's trying to build up their brand around privacy, as we all know. And so I think they're actually taking some steps with email that make it hard for, your email service provider to know what's going on the other end. But all that said, I've come to believe through, staring at data a lot that a lot of them are real, because a lot of them are people like friends and family that I just know. And I know they subscribe to my list because they're my friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And then other people, you just kind of like, you notice patterns as you stare at the data long enough. And so I am convinced that there's a few email addresses on my list that they don't behave like real people. Like they'll open up an email like a bunch of times, like click every link in the email.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that
Right.
doesn't,
No,
that's not,
nobody's actually doing
yeah, nobody's doing that.
that.
But anyway, the point, sorry, that was a very long tangent, but basically, well, it just shocked me. So I think like what this observation that I have that within the first few seconds of sending a mass email, there's a significant, and it's not everybody, it's not half the list or anything, but it's like, and it's going to be relative to the size of your list, but well, hey, on a list that we're building for my other business, which is around
Hmm.
3,000 subscribers, it was 500 of those people, and like almost right away within the first few minutes had opened it. And
Hmm.
so I find that, and it must be because everyone's over there just having their little dopamine fiesta. I mean, that we were just talking about, right? Like, I don't know.
Right, right. Like, do people get push notifications for new emails on their phone? I think there are
I
still
think
people
some
out there
people
that
still
do
do
that.
that.
I mean, like, I have that set up for like folks that I care about, like that don't usually
Yeah,
email me. So if they email me, I want to know about it right away.
yeah.
Family members mostly on that list, uh, but yeah, like I would not do that for work emails. Like
Oh no, no, no.
unless like I know I'm expecting something and I'm gonna go cook dinner. Occasionally I will like turn that on
Yeah.
briefly, but not under normal circumstances.
Is it true that Apple Mail, at least on mobile, actually doesn't do push? It only pulls every 15 minutes. I've heard that. Or if you like swipe
Yes, but it
down.
depends on the email provider. Let me go check.
Like I think it only I heard recently that the client only fetches email at like a certain cadence, which could be good for the dopamine problem if you weren't overriding it by swiping down every 30 seconds.
Okay. It does support push, but Gmail, let's see, those ones are all Gmail based. Gmail does not have a push option. It only has fetch and manual, but iCloud and this other one, which is just a regular old SMTP server, that one does have push. I don't know. But yeah, I have it set up for every 15 minutes it will go fetch emails.
Can you adjust that? Could you do like once every 4 hours?
Yeah. Yeah,
Really
the options are every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, hourly, or manually. There's also an automatically. I don't know what that does.
interesting. Well, I don't know if this is the time or the place, but I'd love to get your review of Apple Mail because I haven't tried it for a long time. Last time I tried it, it really I couldn't do it. I'm about to sound like a crazy person or a really incompetent technology person, both of which could be true. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true, but I seem to remember that for certain, like, let's say I had a Gmail account and an Office 365 account, the swiping actions were like different depending on which account the email was
Oh.
from. And that is insane.
Uh,
I don't like, for example, you can only have it swipe left to be archive for Gmail, swipe left would have to be delete for Outlook or something. I mean, I don't remember what it was. It's been a long
oh,
time, but
well, yeah.
and there was like no amount of fiddling with the settings that I could do to have everything just be swipe left to archive or swipe right to delete.
That would be maddening.
But you're not experiencing that?
Uh, no, but all three of my main email accounts are Gmail, so they all have.
Oh, so they would be all the same.
Yeah,
I
they're all the same.
I remember thinking it had something to do with the fact, Gmail kind of like pioneered the archive versus delete
Yeah,
paradigm when they
right.
gave everyone a bunch of free storage way back in the day.
When 2 GB was like, wow, we'll never fill that up.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it one? What was it when they made that huge? Because Yahoo would give it a bunch of free storage, and then Gmail just came in and just was like an order of magnitude more or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but
Mhm.
but and so I think for a long time maybe Microsoft wasn't like just in their I don't. It's not an API. What would you say? Like they just didn't have the concept of archive until more recently. My memory tells me that's true.
Yeah, I
Is
think
it
that's true.
actually true?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you had to like manually move stuff into folders. You
Yeah,
couldn't
and
just click. You
depending
couldn't
on
just
the
click
email client,
archive.
you could say, I want to treat this folder as archive, so don't move things to the trash, move them into this folder instead.
Yeah.
But it wasn't exactly the same as what Gmail means when it says archive.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I recently started listening to a new podcast, which is something that I very rarely do, as you know, because ironically, maybe I'm not much of a podcast listener, but I am now because I went on a giant road trip. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
it's called Comfort Zone, and I think it's produced by Mac Stories, that website. Anyway,
Oh,
the point
yeah.
of it is it's like three nerds that talk, kind of like we're two nerds that talk.
Uh-huh.
And it's they give each other challenges related to their technology use that push them out of their comfort zone. It's kind of
Oh,
interesting. Like
okay.
I'm sort of like actually really into it.
Hmm.
It's extremely nerdy and I love it. But anyway, I think I want to do a challenge for myself to try Apple Mail, at least on my phone, because if you're using it, I feel like that's a strong endorsement. And
Yeah.
I hope that my experience using it doesn't damage my opinion of you. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Because I'm kind of
I've been using it on my phone for years, so
Mhm.
not exclusively, but anyway, yes. So,
Do you use
I
it on
mean,
your computer as well?
yeah, on my Mac. My day job is a Windows computer, so I don't use
hmm
it there, but
See, I'm one of those weirdos. I guess I didn't think I was a weirdo, but the more I talk to people, the more I wonder if I am. Is I love a unified inbox. Like I want
mm-hmm.
everything in one place. Work, school, whatever. Work, personal, business. I just want it all there. And yes, I will sometimes click into the specific account. So like if I'm at work, I don't want to be seeing my business account or my personal account. Like so I'll do that. Like when I'm in a
Okay.
mode, like a working mode. But if I'm just like on my phone casually, like I just want to I don't know, am I sick? I don't know. I just like cuz I want to be able to clean my inbox efficiently, all like just burn through it and get it done no matter what's going on. So I might need to see a therapist. And the more I talk about this, I'm like, should I be vocalizing all these things? I don't know. Because I guess a lot of people don't like to do that. Like they like to totally separate it. Like some people use different mail clients completely. Like they have Outlook for their work email and Gmail for their personal. That gives me like anxiety just thinking about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that is what I do for the day job. It's just in the Gmail app,
Ugh.
and then everything else is in the unified inbox. I do like it for everything else, but the day job is more like whether because I want to turn it off after I'm done with work for the day, or because things sit in the inbox for a long time,
Yeah.
or because the client fires tend to come through that one, and I don't want to be thinking about them at 9 o'clock at night when I'm winding down.
Oh, that's a real problem. You know what else is a real problem, by the way, is sending an important email before bed that someone might not be excited to read. I can't do that. I've done it several times in my career, and it's like I don't sleep at all that night. I did it just the other day. It was terrible. It wasn't like super bad news or anything, but I just like based on the message that I'm sending and the person I'm sending it to, I know that they're probably gonna want to talk to me in the morning, and they're in a different time zone, and they're gonna want so all night. I will know subconsciously that someone on the other side of the world is experiencing distress because of this email. I don't know. So yeah,
Oh.
I avoid sending emails in the evening too because I just
Yeah. But you wanted to send that before bed so that they had a chance to read it during their
eh,
daytime hours,
no,
or what?
just
Because
so I wouldn't forget.
well, just schedule it. Schedule
Stop!
it.
I knew you were going to say that.
Right. You can write it whenever you want, but just schedule it to go out
That's
during
true.
business hours or
I
whatever.
could be better at scheduling emails, and Outlook now has a thing where it prompts me if I'm writing to someone in a different time zone. I'll be like, "Hey, do you want to consider
Oh,
sending this at 2 a.m.
that's
your time,
cool.
which is like their whatever
Yeah.
morning?" So yeah, I'm recovering a little bit
Okay. Yeah.
because as much as we talk about how addicted I am to checking my email, I actually expect like my expectations for other people receiving my emails is like that it's not like that it should be asynchronous.
Oh,
Like I
absolutely.
I don't expect them to reply
Yeah.
right away.
I'm the same way.
So, but
But for some reason, I can't put that
yeah,
expectation on myself. I don't know
exactly,
why.
exactly, yeah. Like if for me, if it's a urgent thing and it's like a work thing, I will either call the person or like I am them because that's like an immediate feedback thing or whatever. Right? I would never email someone about something urgent at work because like I don't even know if they're going to see it for 12 hours or something, you know. But
Hmm.
anyway,
Makes sense.
so you were saying before I rudely interrupted that you don't like to read stressful emails before bed. So you separate your email, your totally separate email client for your day job and everything else, personal
That's right.
and business and everything.
Yep.
Should I try that too? No, one
I
discomfort zone at a time. The first one
yeah.
shall
I
be
mean,
Apple
I
Mail.
don't usually check my work email on my phone in the first place, but it's just there in case I need it. Because
How are you so good?
I think you're putting me on too much of a pedestal there. But I don't know. The kinds of emails that I get in the day job inbox are not usually the kind that I can respond to on the phone anyway. They need, like, I've got to do a lot of writing to
Okay.
respond to most of those
Yeah.
kinds of things that come through. So it's just not useful for me to read them on my phone anyway. And I don't want to like read it and then there's like 3 to-dos in there and I'm going to forget what they are before I come back. And now the email is marked red. And so I've forgotten that there's even stuff in there. And so I just don't even
Yeah.
open them up.
Okay. Are you aware of the meme going around right now about how what you just said is a very millennial thing? That millennials do important emails and important things on the desktop.
On the desktop.
But like
And
Gen Z does everything on the phone.
yeah, I was not aware of that, but I have heard that we are a dying breed who
Yeah.
use laptop
The big
computers for
screen.
email.
Yeah.
Well, using email in the first place apparently
Oh,
is a millennial thing to do.
this conversation is killing me. I don't know if I'm going to make it. By the way, I think we should copy the Comfort Zone podcast and occasionally do challenges like that for
Okay.
ourselves where it's like, because I love the concept and, there are things that I think I could benefit from.
So what kinds of things are well, like you're going to try Apple Mail.
Yeah, which is going to be rough, but I'm going to try it. And maybe it won't be rough, but
Yeah.
and what's weird
I
is
mean,
it's kind of stemming from I'm going through a really, Steve, I have changed. And I don't know if it's for the better.
okay.
Back in the day, and for a long, long time, I was like open source, cross-platform, Google, Android, none of this ecosystem garbage. I was like
Yeah.
against it. I was so against it. I
Uh-huh.
wanted to be able to customize my home screen. I wanted to be able to access my Evernote on any possible device. That's a
Mhm.
big reason why I used Todoist in the first place is because I could use it natively
Right.
everywhere. Well, anyway, now I am an Apple person, and I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I have an Apple computer, Apple phone, Apple Watch. I just left Spotify for Apple Music.
Oh, really?
And so Apple Mail is like definitely like that would be. I'm just sinking in. I'm sinking into the quicksand of Apple universe and anyway, that's a little bit of context for that. But I have not switched to Apple Podcasts yet. I'm still a Pocket Cast, 100%.
I keep giving it a chance every once in a while and I can't.
I mean, it used to be really bad.
It's it's still, I mean, it's probably fine if I, for some people, but not for me. No, it's I think it would work well if you well, what am I trying to say?
I don't
If
know.
you don't do things the way I do.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
no, the workflow that I have for podcasts is more like there's an inbox of everything that I subscribe to, and I will pick and choose which ones I actually want to listen to and move them into a queue, and then I archive the rest. And you can't really do that with Apple Podcasts. And so it's just
Right.
kind of a non-starter for me these days. But if you just treated podcasts more as like, here's a bunch of things that I like, and hey, I've got some time to listen. Let me dip into the stream and see what's there, and just play the most recent thing from those. I think it would work well for that kind of a use case.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say that because that's how I've been doing it too. I just have an inbox and I don't plan on ever listening to most of them. I'll like pull
Yeah,
from that queue
exactly.
according to my interest. However, Steve, now, recently, since I got back into podcasts, to clarify, I used to listen to a ton of podcasts when I had commute to work, right? But since
Yeah,
I've been working from home, I just haven't had as much car time. So it's like, I'm not really going to go out of my way to listen to a podcast, really,
right.
apparently. But now,
Yeah, it's like walking the dogs, commuting,
yes.
maybe when I'm washing the dishes. That's like the only time I have
Yeah.
to listen to podcasts these days.
And now, as it so happens, I have a dog that I walk. And so that's kind of what's bringing it back. It's like the new commute, I guess. But
Yeah.
anyway, I recently changed my workflow in Pocket Casts where I now have a bunch, not all, but like a large portion of my podcast now goes straight into be auto downloaded and added to my queue because
That
I
makes me nervous.
discovered, well,
Just thinking
hold
about that.
on.
No, go
I know,
on.
I
Go
know,
on. Go on.
I know, because listen, I know because I did things exactly the same as you did until just now. So, but
Okay.
I found a button in here. Well, I guess I primarily listen to them in the car. Actually, still, I don't drive. It's like the grocery store. It's like running errands. I take
Sure.
my dog to the park. That's what it is, and it's back. So it's not like a ton of podcast time. But in the CarPlay interface, there's a little button right on the screen, the home screen, like the now playing screen, that just
Mhm.
says Marcus played. So like I just start listening to the podcast, and if it's
Oh.
not like capturing my attention or whatever, I just hit that button and it archives it and goes away, and then I just go to the next one. So it's kind of like I'm
Uh-huh.
giving more things a chance to like catch my
Okay.
interest. I don't know. It's kind of annoying to me that in the mobile app, the Pocket Cast, you
Is
have
it
to go into the three dot menu to do that, instead of just having like the
where
button right
is
there,
that?
bottom right, three dot
Oh,
menu,
Marcus played.
Marcus
So
Play.
then if you do that, does it end it and go on to the next one?
Yeah, it just archives it instantly and goes to the next one that's in the queue.
Okay. I don't have CarPlay in my car, but that button would be very useful because sometimes I'll get to like the end of the podcast and so
Skip,
okay,
skip, skip,
I want
skip.
to skip the
Yeah,
rest of these ads at the
yeah,
end or whatever, and I'll just hit the skip five
yep.
times, but then it starts skipping into the next
I
episode. I'm
know.
like, no, stop, go
It's like
back.
they over-engineered that. It's like they did it so well that it's not good anymore. It should just stop at the end of the episode, but it just keeps going.
Right.
You know.
It seems like it used to, or maybe that was when I was using Castro. It worked that way.
Oh,
You just hit skip as many times as you want, and once it hit the end of the episode, it would stop
yeah.
registering then until it got to the next one, and then it would start playing from the beginning. I don't know. Whatever.
All right. So I'm
So
making a
nobody's
list right
listening
now.
anymore.
Yeah,
We've
definitely no
gone
one's listening.
way off the deep end.
I'm making a list, Steve. I've got podcasts, email, and ecosystems, and comfort zone. We just planned our next 4 episodes in no particular order.
Okay. I mean, I thought this one kind of was email already.
It was, but I think we could add. We
We
didn't.
have
It was
more to
very
talk
haphazard.
Okay,
I think
that's
there's like,
true.
and maybe we
So
could
you'll go try
slice off
your
chunks
Apple
of
Mail
this.
for a week, and then we'll come back and talk about email again.
I don't know how you're gonna edit this. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this episode,
This is a train wreck.
Yeah, it's a train wreck. I'm having a good time though.
Oh, for sure.
All right. Well, let's call it there.
Yeah.